Welcome back to Entomed.
Cheers. I'm on coffee today. Wine comes later for me.
Happy Thanksgiving / holiday season beginnings.
Holiday season.
We're very excited. I'm very excited. I like this time of year.
You get a lot of time off, which is nice.
Yes, I just coming off of a week of relaxation, lots of reading.
Yeah? What were you reading?
Should we just dive right in?
Yeah, tell me what you're reading.
Have we been reading? What's on our nightstand? I read, over the break, the Red Rising series.
Okay, what's the premise of it?
Good question.
I'm going to ask what it's about.
It is, it's quite popular. I read it, first I'll start with, I read it because I was curious. I'm always curious, like when a book series is very, very popular. I'm very if I hear about it enough times, I'm very susceptible to like advertising and book talk and all that stuff. So
I never
if you hear about it
things.
Enough, my brain will be like, I must know. What I will say is I don't think it's described well on the internet, because I don't think a lot of times they describe like the first book as like a Hunger Games-esque thing, and I don't quite agree.
Okay.
But the premise is you have this person, like this world where there's a class system.
Okay.
Reds are the lowest. And you start the novel with this main character. At the time he's 16, and him and his people believe that they've been sent to Mars to terraform it.
So this is like very sci-fi.
It's sci-fi dystopian.
Okay.
Yeah, and it gets way more sci-fi. The first book I would say is actually not that sci-fi.
Okay.
But then it really gets very sci-fi in the later books. But he believes that he's there to like make Mars inhabitable.
Okay.
There's an event and
an inciting incident.
Yes, that makes him realize he gets like taken out, and he is informed that actually the planet has already been inhabited, and actually his class is like a slave class, and that there's other classes, and that's the gold class, that's the highest. And in this world, it's very much like genetic superiority. They've been able to hone genetics to create these superhumans, and the humans are in control, and everybody else is lower than them.
Kind of sounded like you said the stupid humans.
The stupid humans. Well, tomato.
They are in control. This is true. Okay, got it.
Anyways, then he gets taken, turned into a gold, and then is like infiltrating the system. And I read the first 3 books, and that first trilogy is basically...
All this weekend?
Yeah.
When you have time off,
I read a lot.
So much.
They, basically the first 3 books are leading up to the rebellion and the rebellion happening.
Okay.
What I would say is everybody says the later books are better, and that is true. I think the first book is the weakest in the series. I can understand why it's so popular, but for me, it was just okay.
Okay.
And that's because there was a lot of war tactics, a lot of action scenes,
military strategy,
a lot of scenes of a lot of scenes that are just to me very oh cool, man, I can't believe you just did that, and I'm just I don't care about those things, but there were parts of it that I did like, and I am going to read the second half. I didn't feel the need to immediately do it, but the second half of the series is 10 years later, and it's okay, now you won the rebellion when you were in your early 20s. You've put all these new people in power. Now have you become the evil that you were trying to
fight against?
Yeah, and what does that look like? And a lot of people describe those ones as a little bit darker and slower, and more political and those types of things. And that sounds more my style.
But you haven't read them yet?
No, I haven't read them.
Okay.
I thought I would pause, and I did pause, and then I just started Black Sun.
Yeah.
And the Broken Sky and Earth series. Yeah.
One of my I have so many favorite speculative fiction books, but I feel like we've been talking a lot about fantasy.
Yeah, because I'm reading a lot of it right now.
The last few episodes, but amazing series. So Paige just started it. The 3rd book came out a year ago, and I went to read it and realized I couldn't remember because it's been a slow release. So I'm going to reread with Paige so that I can get to the
and then
book.
I thought we could do an episode on it, because I do think it's really good. I immediately got sucked in.
Yeah, if you're watching it, pick it up. It's pre-Columbian America's So it's indigenous-based mythology fantasy, and it's incredible. That's all.
Yeah, so far so good. So I thought I would do that series, and then the Red Rising series, the last book, it's not completed, and I don't like starting non-completed series because I won't pick it up again. I think we talked about that the last episode. But the next book comes out, the last book comes out in the summer. So I did consider maybe just reading the other 3 over Christmas or something. Okay. Like, I don't feel like, I'm not like, it's not the type of series where I'm like, oh, I gotta finish this. I'm so interested, but I'm interested enough to complete it. So that's what I've been reading. What about you?
I feel like in the last few weeks I've DNF'd. Do people say that?
That's the phrase.
They do say DNF. Did not finish.
That's vernacular for do not finish, or the acronym.
I've been DNFing a lot of books. Just because they're not hitting me in the right spot. I was trying to get into, today we're talking about comfort reads, and so I was like, oh, I'm going to try some cozy reads to see if they feel comforting. And a lot of those, I started reading one called The Death of Mr. Wickham, and it's like a cozy murder mystery, but it's all the characters from all of Jane Austen's books all know each other, and it's their kids' story. But it just was too... it was too much of the same, recreating the same story arcs from Jane Austen. And I just kind of, it wasn't for me. One version that I do like of that, though, that it made me think of is Tirzah Price. She technically writes young adult, but I think these books are now marketing for adults. And she does these Jane Austen murder mysteries called like Pride and Premeditation, and and those ones are great. So if you want a cozy murder Jane Austen mystery, I would say
so niche. It's niche with a niche with a niche.
But what else? I'm still reading. I feel like I mentioned this before. Everything is Tuberculosis, not a comforting read, as you might imagine. This is John Green, but I'm reading it slowly. I'm just like reading a chapter a week, so it's taking me a while. I'm curious if any of you have read these books. I started reading this book based on the cover because I am someone who's completely sold.
I mean, it's fun. That's a fun looking book.
And like, look how beautiful it has. This side. Oh, there's my bookmark. That was a really good page flip that I just did. So Bookshops and Bonedust by Travis Baldry. And I got a ways into it, and then I was like, this name is so familiar. And I looked up the author, and he does all the Legends and Lattes books with the covers with like the ogres and the orcs, which I have seen for years and never picked up because of the cover. I don't know why, something about those covers made me go, not for me. But I got tricked into reading it based on a beautiful cover. And so far, I mean, I'm only 80 pages in, but so far so good.
Oh, okay.
It's a fun story.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if any of you have read his books and really liked them. I want to hear from you, because this is one of those.
I always see the Legends and Lattes. I literally just this morning
They're
saw
everywhere.
one. Anytime you, one of the books we're going to talk about today, but like anytime you do, like for me, cozy fantasy can be really mostly miss.
Yeah.
I think there's only a few.
Agreed.
And like, but the list I see always have I think there's 3 that I like. They have 3, and then they'll have the Legends and Lattes.
Yeah.
But there's something about that makes me feel like I wouldn't like it. So I would be curious if any of you have read like the Witchy Society one and Emily's Wilde, and if you would agree that it's just as good.
Yeah.
You know, Emily's Wilde. That's not how you say that at all.
No, Emily Wilde's Compendium of Fairy
Encyclopedia.
There's also the Compendium.
Oh yeah, that's the 3rd one.
Yeah.
We'll
put these books up. But for those of you who are listening, you're going to be real confused.
Let's do our magical bowl. Magical mystical bowl of prompts.
Magical mystical bowl.
Am I picking today?
Sure.
Magical mystical prompts.
Oh, there's a song now. So happy.
Okay.
If it's one we've done before, get a different one.
Oh. Book that made you say that every time, just so you know.
Okay.
It's like, I know.
No memory.
I know.
I have no memory.
Book that made you want to fight the power.
Ooh.
That's one of your prompts.
I wrote that, huh?
Yeah, you did. I remember when we talked about it, I had a book in mind, but I don't know if I have one now.
That made you want to
have to think about that.
The power. That's one to like chew on for a while, I feel
I know, that's a harder one to answer on the fly.
Okay. So I figured one for myself. So I've read a lot of different books and collections of essays by Angela Davis. And every time I read Angela Davis or hear her speak...
Yeah, inspiring.
I'm just like... I mean, amazing. And she's still living and she's still fighting. And the consistency of her values and what she stands up for and what she's done, it just... And, you know, normal person, but choose to live a not normal life because of her values. I'm looking at specifically on my shelf, I have Woman, Race, and Power. And then there's another short collection of essays. I'm looking around my house trying to find it. That's also really good around peace and protest. But yeah, I think anything from Angela Davis, and I'm like, yes, we must do more, which is great. Thank you, Angela Davis.
Yeah, I'm still thinking. I'm half listening, half thinking. I would say a long time ago, and I probably won't be able to recall it enough, but the Nelson Mandela book, Fighting the Apartheid in South Africa. And then actually, I read both actually when I was in South Africa. I also read his follow-up book, and that is like about his later years, and both of those were really quite good. I'm having like a whole bunch of thoughts now.
Oh.
I think I also read Michelle Obama's book. That was quite inspiring.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That one
was
made
quite
me
inspiring.
Like,
Yeah.
Gotta do more.
Yeah, I think also, I'm not going to remember the name, but it won the Pulitzer for nonfiction a couple years ago, and it was like a story about a Palestine person living in Palestine prior to the war that's happening right now, prior to this current genocide. But I feel like those
you
small...
have it on your shelf, don't you? I can see it.
I have those small, intimate stories. Those always actually do inspire me a lot.
Yeah.
I've read a couple, with like World War II concentration camp survivees. Like those always inspire me as well, because it's like they actually live through this too. I feel like nonfiction for me is probably more likely, and like literally everyday people who stand up, even if it's just in small ways, in terrible situations, rather than like rebellion fiction books or whatever.
As a young person reading those like fantasy rebellion books,
that inspired you.
I think it made me who I am, where it's like, I want to stand up, I want to have a voice, I don't want to go with the crowd. But as an adult now, it's reading everyday people. So yeah, okay.
Cool, there we go. We did the prompt.
We did it.
So today's episode is all about comfort reads.
Yes.
At first I internalized it as cozy, and then we realized we do this every time. So we had a conversation prior, and that did change my list drastically.
Yeah, so these aren't cozy reads. It's not
things
like
that
cozy
we
mystery.
read when we want to be comforted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to start? Or
do you want to start with the one that we both chose, or should we do that for last?
Favorite
Okay,
one?
I guess she's
now
like, favorite, we're doing it now. But before I start, I do want to say, for me, most of my comfort reads are fantasy, because most of the time when I want to be comforted, it's in the winter, late fall, and that's when I like to read fantasy, which is why the last couple of weeks, that's what I've been reading. Like I read more contemporary and literary things like spring, summer. That's like when my brain wants to take in real life stories, but when I'm like, when it's dark and it's cold and I'm stressed, I want to be in a different world. So most of mine are fantasy, and then Brenda has a better mix. I did put in one contemporary novel, but anyways, the one that we both identified as a good comfort read is House by the Cerulean Sea.
It just makes me sigh.
Yeah, I read this.
Is the author.
Probably in 2020 or near 2020, when everything was awful.
Yeah, I was going to say it was right around the pandemic.
Yeah.
And the first Trump reign of terror.
Yeah, and this is actually my first cozy fantasy read, and
it made me be like, oh, I think I'll like fantasy, cozy fantasy.
It just is so, like the way I described it is it's a story that's been told many, many times.
Yeah.
It's not anything new and fresh, but oh my God, the characters and the amount of love and happiness that is in that book. Like literally when I finished that book, I was like, I want to go live with these people. Like it was just such a beautiful family and happiness, and people discovering that Like, he just captured a feeling that all of us want, of feeling of belonging so well.
And I will say, so this one, it is set in a magical world, but it's like magical contemporary. So the main character is like a pretty stodgy caseworker, like regular dude, but he works for the the department in charge of magical youth. So he's a caseworker for them. And he goes to visit this house that has an orphanage that has many magical youths who are being fostered by a man named Arthur. And he goes to kind of like get them in trouble and starts to get to know all of the children. And just to give you like a taste of who these children are, one's name is Lucifer, and it is the son of the devil. And he's 6 or something like
Lucy.
that. Goes by Lucy. Yeah. And then, no, it's Lucy. Oh,
no,
yeah, he
goes by Lucy.
Who's the gnome?
The gnome, Talia.
Talia the gnome.
I read this book years ago and I remember her name because that's how, like, Lucy and Talia, I was like, these crazy violent children are making me happy. That's how good they're written.
And they're just
so cute. They always want to kill people.
They always want to kill people. They're little psychopaths, but they're children. And it's this thought so of like the Department of Magical Youth is like they're a danger.
Yeah.
And the person who's
orphanage
fostering
is supposed to be the most dangerous kids that you're hiding away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one kid that's just like this gelatin blob that his dream is to be a
bellhop. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
This book I go back to, there's a sequel, but I think you can read it as a standalone. To me, it's a book that it's like a quiet story that gives me hope in the world, just from like interactions with people, whether or not these are real people or not.
No, 100%. I feel like if you are having a hard time, which I was when I read this book, it makes you just feel so like seen, even though these people don't know you and you don't know them, but like he does such a good job of creating, of being like, you can find your people is basically the biggest thing. It's like no matter what. There's
something about like the 2 adult main characters being in their like 40s and being like 2 like middle-aged, stodgy, out of shape men, and just like as somebody entering middle ages, just being like, the ordinary part of your life, you can still do something new and have a change in who you are. And I think that's hopeful too.
Yeah. I loved it. I think it was so good.
Yeah, beautiful read. T.J. Klune writes a lot of great books. This is by far my favorite. Under the Whispering Door is also a good one. It's all about death.
Yeah.
Which is, my favorite topic.
Yeah, he does write really great books, but yeah, that one's my favorite of his and the one that has stuck with me the most, I'd say, of his.
I'll go into, I was going to talk about, to change up our fantasy run here, and speaking of going through hard times, so I realized things I reach for comfort during hard times is poetry. So I wanted to show some, this isn't the exact collection, but Joy Harjo is a poet who I adore. David Whyte, House of Belonging, is who we've gone and seen him talk. Is a poet, and his books, I don't know, sometimes times when I need comfort, I actually can't focus on a full-length novel because my brain is hurting too much. But sitting with a poem and feeling seen and remembering other people feel these emotions is really helpful. So yeah, Mary Oliver, David Whyte, Joy Harjo are a couple of kind of the well-known but really great go-tos.
Yeah.
So that's my small pitch on go out and read poetry.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go next. I'm going to do one that I don't have with me here, but I just recently reread. So like oftentimes when I'm having a hard time, I like to reread stories that I already know. So then I don't have to be focusing so much, but I know that they have brought me, that I loved them enough. And I recently reread I think it's called the Aurelian Cycle, but the first book is called Fireborn by Rosaria Mundy, I believe. But I could have just butchered the name. She'll fix it in a minute. But that series is about sort of like an alternative fantasy Russia. And you're starting with, you have 2 main characters who you're like, actually no, as the books go on, you get several perspectives, but you start with 2 perspectives of this boy and girl. And you're, I think like probably like 10 years after a rebellion. And the first girl was a peasant in the former society. And her whole family was killed by one of the lords. And then the boy is the last remaining son of the lord that killed her whole family, and he watched his whole family get slaughtered in the rebellion, and they both end up in the same orphanage. And then in this new society, you can take a test that then puts you in a certain class, and they take a test and they get to enter into basically a military thing where you learn to ride dragons. So you got dragons.
Dragon story.
And basically the story in the trilogy is about them. They both of them believe in this new, they think that they believe in this new society and this new world, and it's sort of them coming to terms with, is this actually better? Very similar to the Red Rising, of like, okay, there's been a rebellion, there's this new society, but actually is it, yeah, some of the things, like there isn't a peasant class necessarily anymore, or you have some way of having upward mobility with this testing, but if you don't test high, you actually are still considered a peasant. You can't move out of the sort of like placement that they put you in. And I think it does a really, really good job of both of these people are coming from very different backgrounds, and so how they internalize this new world and when they realize that things aren't working works really well. Whereas like with the girl that's coming from being a peasant, like she starts doing things that maybe she's becoming the evil that she endured, but she's doing it because she feels like, since I've endured it, I'll be able to do it in a more ethical way. But I believe in what's going on. And then the one that's coming from the ruling class is maybe quicker to recognize things not working, but maybe also not rebelling in the best way, and them kind of like finding their way through this and like figuring out who deserves power and blah, blah, blah. I think it's very well done. It's YA.
How many times have you read it?
Just twice.
Just twice, okay.
Yeah. But
it's Rosaria Munda, by the way.
Yeah, it's quite depressing, I will say that.
With a Spanish accent, which I don't know if it's the Spanish name, so.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I think it's very well done, and it's something that I would recommend to most people. I think if you like fantasy, if you like dragons, like it's a well done. Even though it's YA, I think that an adult can read it and get things out of it.
Totally.
So
love YA, as you know.
Yeah. So I think it's very well done in terms of a rebellion story and deinstitutionalizing yourself.
Yeah.
Even when you're in the military, basically, because basically they are in the military, which is another form of indoctrination. Anyhow, so that's my next one.
Well, I am going to take a pivot to nonfiction for a comfort read.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
I would never turn to nonfiction for comfort, but maybe you'll surprise me.
But I have this book somewhere. I was searching my house for it, but earlier I talked about John Green's Everything is Tuberculosis. This is not a comfort read, so don't get me wrong. A few years back, he put out a book called The Anthropocene Reviewed. And if you don't know about John Green, follow him. He's wonderful. He is known for, he got to start with YA, kind of contemporary fantasy books about neurodivergent youth. Also, one's going through crises.
Is he not the person that did like The Fault in Our Stars and stuff?
Yeah.
That's
and
not
Turtles
fantasy.
all the way down. Did I say fantasy?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean fantasy.
Yeah,
sorry.
no.
I didn't mean fantasy. The word just came out. But he's been writing mostly adult the last few years, and the Anthropocene Review is a collection of tiny little vignettes about remarkable things in the world. And so some of them will be about like, I can't think of the name of some weird beetle, but it'll be the name of some weird beetle, and it'll be like 2 pages on this incredible beetle and how marvelous it is. And the whole thing is just kind of stopping and pausing and appreciating and taking awe in these little things in the world. And I thank you, sister. It was a sister gift. Well, she didn't give it to me. It's on her shelf. But I was going through a really hard time, and everything was terrible in life. And reading just these little essays and remembering to be curious and marvel was something that I found very comforting, and it is something I reach for when I need to remember that as much as the world is crazy and there's eternally bad things happening, there's also a lot of wonder. So yes, the Anthropocene Review, John Green. You don't have to don't read it in one sitting. Just read a little essay before bed or in the morning. Yeah, highly recommend.
Yeah. I'll do another one that's not with me. No, I'll do one with me. I'll switch it up. Okay.
Oh.
So I first created this list when I was visiting my parents, so I had to do it from memory. And then when I was looking at my bookshelf this morning, I was like, oh, actually, I'm going to switch one of my things out. And I chose Sally Rooney's newest book, Intermezzo.
Never read it. I don't know anything about it.
This, to me personally, is Sally Rooney's best book, but I will say, like, I like most of her books. The only one that didn't work for me was Conversations with Friends, but the rest of them have worked for me. But I do think every book she puts out, it gets better and better. This one is about two brothers. One is definitely neurodivergent, and then the other is sort of like a high power guy, and their father has passed away. And they're both dealing with grief. And her books are definitely about relationships. So the neurodivergent younger brother meets an older woman who is falling in love with her, and then the older brother, who I can't remember what he is. He may be a lawyer or something. I'm not sure. Something where you make a lot of money.
Okay.
He's in a relationship with a younger woman, but he's also sort of having a continued emotional relationship with an ex-girlfriend who has like a chronic health condition, and that's why they broke up, as she didn't want to be a burden on him, and it kind of is them coming to terms with being in a polyamorous relationship. But it goes over mental health, like depression. It goes over, connecting to humans. I just feel like it's very well done. I've read it a couple times, I think twice. This was a book that I read and finished it and immediately read it again. Wow. It was so good. It hit me so good. So it was like one of those books that I immediately was like, no, I need to live in this world again. She just like hit all the things that I want to hit. It's emotional, but at the same time as like inspiring, because it's people finding their people. It's these two brothers kind of coming back together because they've had a little bit of a fraught relationship, but now they're the last remaining people in their family. I don't remember what happened to their mother. Or if their mother is alive. I don't know. Or the mother might still exist. I'm not sure. I know the father for sure is dead. But it's kind of like them trying to have a relationship again. And it has really good sibling dynamics. It has, I think we've all had moments where there are siblings where we were on completely different paths and we're moving away, and you start to wonder, are you ever going to have a relationship with this person again because they were like very close when they were younger. And it's like, is this ever going to happen again? And how to come back.
How to get there.
Yeah, and what the things that you might have to confront that brought you apart.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think for me, it was her best book, and it's one that I revisit quite a bit.
Wow, that actually does make me, I've never read Sally Rooney. I think I've tried to, and it just wasn't my style.
She's a hit or miss author, for sure.
It's one of those like Paige and I different points. Like you always read Sally Rooney, I don't, but that makes me want to read it. Yeah. I'm like, maybe I'll try it out. Of the
Sally Rooney books, I feel like that's probably the least divisive, but I don't know. I think actually now I think about it, I think I know one person that read it and they said they didn't like it. Okay. But I do know Sally Rooney is an author that for many people, they just don't like her voice. They don't like how she writes. They don't like her voice. But that's, for me, her voice works. That's I've perfect. Always liked it. Yeah. Like the Conversations with Friends didn't work for me, but all the rest of them, I'm like, yeah, I like the way that she looks at human relationships, and that is what she's investigating is.
This is completely unrelated. And this tells you how much I know about Sally Rooney. Does she write romance?
There's always a romance subplot.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not, I wouldn't classify it as like traditional romance.
Okay.
But there's always a romance. Okay, you know what I mean? It's one of those, I want to be very careful here because many people will be like, oh, this romance book isn't just a romance. It's like a literary fiction. And I don't agree ever. I'm always like, no, this is a romance. Like straightforward, this is a romance. That's the point of this book. Okay. I feel like hers is actually a book.
There's more of a story going on.
It's about relationships. It's about all types of relationships, but there's always a romantic relationship with each protagonist.
It's just not the only focus.
Yeah, but it's just also layered with like mental health things or like how do you perceive the world. A lot of times mental health is a big part of it. And just like how do you exist in this world and develop relationships. But yeah, there is always a romantic pairing.
Did you see, this is more tangent, but did you see Catherine Center? They're making a movie out of The Bodyguard?
You said that, yeah. Yes, I'm not surprised by that. They've made actually a couple, they did another show that I really liked, which I had watched before I had read Catherine Center.
Okay.
Shoot, I'm not going to remember it. It was on Netflix. It was with a comedian, and she's been divorced, and she goes on like this wilderness thing, and it was like very cute, and I didn't realize it was a Catherine Center book.
Oh.
But, so she's actually, what is it? What is it called when your books are
rich?
Adapted. Oh, she's adapted a lot of her books. That's the words I want.
Rich. That's mine. Okay, that was my tangent.
So yeah, that's my next one.
I think this will be my last one, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, I only have 2 more.
How dare you? Are they the same series though?
No.
Fine. I'm just kidding. So when I reread books for comfort, I tend to reach for books from my youth, like books I read as a young person. And one of them I actually reread this week because I wanted to see, like, do I still enjoy it as an adult? And I do. And this is from the 90s, you can tell.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And I specifically bought the cover from the 90s because I have so many teenage memories.
Where did you find it?
I had to get it off of I had
online.
to like special find it online because they don't print it anymore.
Yeah.
Special find it is the term.
Special find it online.
But this is the exact like cover that I checked out from the little library that I grew up in. So it's called Crown Duel by Sherwood Smith. Sherwood Smith writes a ton of fantasy for adults and children, or middle grade to young adult. And when this was first published, it was published as 2 books, Crown Duel and Court Duel, and now it's only sold as 1 book, and it's part 1 and 2. This is actually part 1 and 2
that's why it's
combined.
called... Oh, never mind.
So now it's Crown Duel, and it's just 1 volume.
Okay. I read it as Crown Duet.
Oh, no. Well, no. Just now.
No, I was wrong.
But I love this book because, so the first act, what was the first book, is... would have been Crown Duel, and it's all like her and her brother's kingdom are going to battle because the king that controls everything is unjust, and they and their little ragtag group are like standing up against it, and they've sent out and asked for help, and no one helps them, and they're these kind of backwater, don't have enough of like armed might to do it. And throughout the whole thing, you know, the main character, Mel or Meliria, is, you know, she's like this scrappy fighter, but very like proud and always messing up. And basically by the end of spoiler, by the end, oh, you're gonna read this?
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Fudge.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not spoiling books here. We're not doing a deep dive.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, so book 1 is all battlefield and her getting out of scrapes. Mm-hmm. Book 2 is the other side of war, and she has to go away from her backwater town where she hangs out with all her servants and actually learn how to work in court, and that one was called Court Duel. Mm-hmm. And she has to learn how to like have a fan and do the intrigue and lie.
Love that.
And there is a slice of romance, and this is like
a slice.
Yes, but it's a slice that I love and was like, I don't know how old I was when I read this, but I feel like it was part of my sexual awakening. Oh, yeah. It's not at all steamy. It was just enough.
Yeah. It's just like teaching you what is romance.
Yeah, and if you think of like
flirting,
all the Jane Austen men, all their elements combine into the main character here of this like mysterious but kind, but puts on a bad, like, tries to make you think he's a flake, but he's not. All the things. And enemies to lovers. So if you like enemies to lovers. Anyway.
Yeah.
I reread this so many times as a young person. I just reread it this week and I still love it. So Sherwood Smith. Also, Sherwood Smith wrote, if you have middle grade readers in your life, this great little series called, the covers are terrible, but they're called Ren to the Rescue, and it's 3 books. And similar kind of character, these brassy young women, but just great with magicians and sorcerers and
fun
shape-shifting. Yeah. Sorry, I just fangirled so hard on Sherwood Smith.
Go for it.
That was, so much of my youth, Sherwood Smith.
I love when people like pull out like something from the 90s. Like often after I finish a book, will like listen to author interviews, and I love it when authors are like, oh, say exactly what you just said. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I love this, like, this fantasy, blah, 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 from the
97.
90s. Yeah.
This
that
was
I never would have
97.
known about because, like, obviously they're not popular now, but it's like,
No, you don't
I
see
love
these
like
reprinted.
going back in time and seeing like where are the origins of all these things that are popular right now.
There's even a reminder for me of like, oh, this really influences my writing. It's like, oh,
interesting.
shiza,
That's cool.
that's in my,
But that's fun to know.
it's back there.
I like that.
Anyway, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. The last two I have, I'll do one standalone and then I have one series because, as I said, I like fantasy. The next one is a newer one. It's Wilde, Reverence by Rebecca Ross.
Yeah, we have reverenced Reverence in previous episodes.
You said that wrong.
Referenced Reverence.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
No, you said reverenced Reverence.
Let's fight about it later.
Let's fight about it later. I did choose that one because I do think like that's a good one. It's a good one. It's the first Rebecca Ross that I read and like was able to finish. Not to say that her other books aren't good. They just
It just was the one that got you.
Yeah. And I just feel like since I've already talked about it, but it was just it was literally a cozy read, you know.
Okay.
And it has a great romance, great yearning. Oh my goodness, over the top yearning, which is what I want out of a romance. And also, like, actually, since it was a fantasy,
Curious. And this is yours. No,
Okay,
you have to give it back. But you have to read it and tell me if, like, I don't know if I know what yearning. I should know what yearning is, but I'm curious if you think it's in there.
Oh, I'm sure there's yearning in this.
Yeah.
YA does yearning the
So
best
good.
because my sister and I talk about this all the time. Of like when you can't have that sexual tension release in the same way that you would with an adult fantasy romance where there's like way more literally sex. You have to rely on yearning and those little payoffs of like, oh, he touched my hand and I'm so excited. And it's just so I'm positive it has yearning, but that's not the point of this story.
Wild Reverence.
Wild Reverence has good yearning, and it also is like I feel like I went on a little bit of a hunt for fantasy romances I liked because I don't tend to like them since I don't feel like the fantasy part lives up. But this is one that I would recommend if you like fantasy romance. And then the last one I have is of like I would say any book in the Elfame world, which is Holly Black's world,
and
we talked about, The Cruel Prince. So I thought I would highlight her duology, which is The Stolen Heir and The Prisoner's Throne. And I would say, actually, I think The Stolen Heir is my favorite of all her books.
Really?
I love the main character is Wren, who is
a bird.
The main characters are Wren and
good job.
What was that kid's name?
I'm being so sarcastic.
Wren and Oak. But the first book is Wren's voice. The second book is Oak's voice. Oak is from the Cruel Prince series, but Wren is basically a changeling. So she was taken from fairy and put with a family, and then her fairy family comes and takes her, and she's like a fairy princess. And it's Holly Black's take on like, when you're younger and you wish to be taken away to become a fairy princess, but this actually happens to her, and her family is absolutely horrific and very abusive. And I just feel like her depiction of like trauma and Wren trying to have relationships and just who Wren is so believable to me, based on like the things that have happened to her and her being able to learn to trust people. Personally, I felt like Stolen Heir was better than Prisoner's Throne, but I still liked the duology, and I still re-listen to it often, as well as Cruel Prince, so I had to include that one, because that's one that I, like, definitely, if I'm like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to read, and I'm having a hard time focusing, I'll just go back to these and listen or read them.
There's actually, I do have one more, another one from my childhood, probably maybe the book I've read the most, I don't know, Ella Enchanted.
Oh yeah, I've only seen the movie. I haven't seen the book.
So they do not relate. The movie does not do it justice. The book is Gil Carson Levine, and that's another one from my childhood that I can pick up and read over and over and over. Apparently comfort reads for me tend to be like reads from my youth that give me that comforting feeling.
Yeah.
Here's a random question to wrap up our comfort reads. Do you think you have to specify when you're talking about reading books if you read or listened?
That's a good question.
So I've been seeing things where people are like, well, I read 5 books, but I listened to 2. It's like it doesn't count if you listen to it, and I disagree.
Oh, I don't think that.
Yeah.
No. I think I specify if I read or listened. I do think that changes the experience of how you internalize the book, because
Yes.
obviously the voice is shaping your understanding. So I think I'll say that if I feel like the audiobook was particularly good, and helped enhance the experience. Like for me, I didn't like Prisoners Thrown as much, and I was listening to it, and it's because I didn't like the voice of the person.
I tried it.
But when I read it, I liked it a lot better.
Yeah.
So I think that's when but I don't think of it as like, oh, I didn't read a book because I listened to it.
Yeah. I feel like that's such a weird
No.
differentiation.
Yeah.
Anyway.
However you consume books, whatever.
It counts. It's stories. You're
It
consuming
is
stories.
obviously the way I internalize it is different, because one
Yeah.
is my voice, only my images, and the other is someone else's voice, my images.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess I do, but like I sometimes don't even think about it. I'll just say read, but I listen to it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just curious.
I'll just add one more thing that I didn't include. I was originally going to include the Realm of the Elderlings, which is a Robin Hood series.
Which you've talked about.
I decided, no, I actually haven't. We didn't put any of those episodes out. I've only talked about the Cassandra Clare.
Okay.
I decided not to include it because it's such a long series, but like I will say that for me is comforting as well, is diving into a world that has like 15 books, and I can just like be in a world for a long time and like fully enveloped. That for me is very comforting.
I think you should do some short videos with just you deep diving on some of these series that you have gotten so in depth on.
Yeah,
I think that would be good for people who are really interested in
fantasy.
long
series. Yeah. Because like I realize like most people don't want to spend that much time in one place, but for me that's helpful, especially if I'm having a hard time and I don't like my life. It's like no problem. Let me go live these people's life. And it's not, and it also takes up a good portion of your time. You don't have to be hunting for the most anxiety-inducing thing is when you just finish a really good book and you're having a book hangover and you're like, how do I find my next good read?
How do I do this?
And you're like having to shuffle through when you have a really long series. It's like, no problem, I'm already in it. I have 10 more books to go. I don't have to think about what my next read is for a long time.
I can do a trilogy, but more than a trilogy. Well, we hope we gave you a bunch of options for December reading as we get into these long, dark nights and cozy season when you want some comfort. Not cozy, comfort, 2 different words. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. This has been Entomed. Cheers.